Alrighty, so we are going to first see whether the second number is a factor of the first. This is your warm-up, so please hit pause, try it, and then check your answers. Number one is no. Because if you look at the factors of 50, the way that I always do it is I say, well, 1 times 50. 2 times 25. Those are factors. 3, no. 4, no. 5 times 10. And so on and so forth. So those are your factors. So notice 6 is not on that list. So 6 is not a factor. Yes, 11 is a factor of 44 because 11 times 4 equals 44. So yes, it is. 27 and 3, yes, because 3 times 9 is 27. So yes, it is a factor. Number 4 says list all the factors of 28. Again, the way that I do this is I'd say 1 times 28. 2 times 14. 3 times nothing. 4 times 7. But notice 5 and 6 are the only numbers between here, between 4 and 7, and they're not, so there's all of your factors. So now we're going to talk about what prime factorization is. Prime factorization is when all the factors are prime numbers. Remember, prime numbers are divisible by 1 and itself. For instance, 3, 5, 11. Those are all prime numbers. So it says write the prime factorization of the following numbers. When you're doing that, you're going to make a factor tree. So the first thing I do is I say, well, 24 is really 6 times 4. And then I look and say, are these prime? And they're not, so I have to go further. Well, 6 is really 2 times 3. Are these prime? Yes. When they're prime, I circle them. 4 is not prime, it's 2 times 2. So yes, those are prime. So then my prime factorization is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. But you want to write it as 1 power. So your final answer would be 2 cubed times 3. Then you can always check yourself. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. So you could check yourself. The prime factorization for 60, let's do 6 times 10. Neither one of them are prime. 6 is 2 times 3. Oh, they are prime. 10 is 2 times 5. They are prime, so I could write it as 2 times 2 times 3 times 5, which is 2 squared times 3 times 5. Notice you always want to put your numbers in order from least to greatest. And then they're going to stay that way. Well, now we're going to be talking about greatest common factors. When we're finding the greatest common factor, you need to first write out the factors. So let's write out the factors of 12 and of 27. First of 12, again, do it in an organized fashion. 1 times 27. I'm sorry, I was doing 27. 1 times 12. We'll do 1 times 27 in a minute. 1 times 12. 2 times 6. 3 times 4. Notice there's nothing else, so we know we have all our factors. 27, now we have our 1 times 27. It's not even, so not 2. 3 times 9, and nothing else goes into it. So I look at my two lists. The biggest number they have in common is 3, so I know that my GCF, or my greatest common factor, equals 3. 24 and 60. Again, let's do the same thing. 24, 60, make your list. 1 times 24. 2 times 12. 3 times 8. 4 times 6. 5 doesn't go into it, so we know we have our list. For 60, it's a little bit bigger, so that's why you want to be organized about it. 1 times 60. 2 times 30, 3 times 20, 4 times 15, 5 times 12, and then you also have 6 times 10. So that's why you have to be organized, because otherwise you might miss a number in there. So I'm looking at my list, and the biggest number I see in common is a 12. So your GCF equals 12. Notice with number 5, now we have some variables and some exponents. What you want to do whenever you have these is you want to find the greatest number, and variable. So let's first look at our 3x cubed and our 9x to the 5th. So for 3x cubed, let's just look at the number 3. Well, the factors of 3 are 1 and 3. Let's look at x cubed. Well, x cubed is x times x times x. Now let's do our 9x to the 5th. Well, for 9, we have 1, 3, and 9. X to the 5th is x, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we look, the greatest number in common is 3. There are 3 x's here in common with 3 x's there. So our GCF would equal 3, that's our number, x cubed. Notice that 3 is the smallest exponent. So whatever your smaller exponent is, that's going to be your GCF. For number 6, let's look at 7ab cubed and 21a squared b to the 5th. So if I look at 7ab cubed, let's just do this guy first. My factors of 7 are just 1 and 7. A is just, well, a, and b cubed is 1, 2, 3 b's. Let's look at 21. You have 1, 3, and 7, 2 a's, 5 b's. So if I look and see what they have in common, I could say they have a 7 in common, they have 1a in common, and they have 3 b's in common. So the GCF would be 7ab cubed. And again, you notice that the a is the smallest factor, has an exponent of 1, and cubed is the smallest exponent. Okay, so for these, I would like for you to try these on your own and then check them. These ones are independent, so find these on your own and check them. This time you just have 3. All right, so for number 1, you should have said, well, the factors of 16, you should have written down that the factors of 16 are 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4, so you only have to write 4 once. Of 8, they are 1 and 8, 2 and 4. For 12, you have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. So on all 3 lists, the biggest number is 4. So your GCF equals 4. Something that I always like to do is I look at my smallest number and I see if it's a factor and check to see if it is a factor of all 3. If it is, then it is the GCF because it's the biggest factor of that number. So for instance, 4. Does 4 go into 8? Yes. Does 4 go into 32? Yes. Does 4 go into 4? Yeah, 4 is the biggest factor of 4. So your GCF here is just 4. Now, whenever you look at number 3, you have to look for let's look at the numbers, the coefficients. 4 goes into 4, yes. Does it go into 16? Yes. Does it go into 8? Yes. So I know my GCF is 4. Now let's look at our exponents. We have cubed, squared, and this is a 1. 1 is my smallest exponent. So I can't have any more n's than 1 here. So the GCF would have to be 4n. Now if I look here, 18 does not go into 27. So 18 cannot be my GCF. So this one I might have to do a little bit more work on, but that's okay. 27, we'll just look at its factors. 1 times 27, 3 times 9. That was pretty simple. 18, 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6. Number 81. Oh, if I'm starting to look here, it's 1 times 81. 2 doesn't go into it. 3 times 27. And 9 times 9. I can tell 9 is my GCF. So 9. And then let's look at our exponents. 3 squared, 1, just 9y. Now for a challenging one. This time we have 4, but I think you can handle it. Let's look here. 8, 4, we have 8, 4, 12, and 8. 4 is the smallest number. Does 4 go into 8? Yes. 4 go into 12? Yes. 4 go into 8? Yes. So 4 is my biggest number. Now let's look at our a's. Exponent of 4, exponent of 3, exponent of 2, exponent of 2. So the biggest a's there can be are squared. Now let's look at our b's. B cubed, b cubed, b cubed, b to the 4th. So cubed is the biggest one they all have in common.